The GRA says in the right circumstances and for the right reasons, data sharing between organisations can be beneficial, but stress it's important to understand what can and can't be done legally when sharing personal information.
The code provides a framework which organisations should follow to ensure that they operate within the law. One of those points, for example, is to ensure that individuals are informed of how the information is shared and used, so that they can take any corrective action, and so that their rights are not affected. In terms of another example, for example, in the public sector is our dealings, organisations sharing of information with law enforcement agencies. Most organisations want to share information for law enforcement purpose with the police, for example, but you want to make sure that you do so properly. So if you have a large database, you don't want to just give free access to that database. You want to make sure that there are adequate controls in place so that database and access to that database is done securely and responsibly.
The document provides best practice for the sharing of personal data, such as accuracy and transparency, and for the safeguarding of individual rights in accordance with the Data Protection Act.
For organisations, the Code of Practice is not law, but it is approved by the Data Protection Commissioner, and organisations where they do share data should follow it. However, even though it provides specific guidance on this topic and on the key points that are particularly relevant to data sharing, it is quite flexible. So organisations can adapt the code to their circumstances. So, for example, if they don't strictly follow the code, it doesn't mean that they've breached the Act. If they can justify why they're not following the codes and what alternative measures they have in place. So there is an element of flexibility. Obviously, it would be a very different scenario if organisations simply don't follow a code and don't have any other measures in place to protect data.
Organisations could suffer reputational damage or even face fines if they're found to have breached the Data Protection Act. The Code of Practice can be found on the GRA's website.